In this review, I bless myself.
Bless you.
I get surprised.
What was that?
And I drive through a tunnel.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Auto Avids, coming to you from the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee. Now, when one thinks of the beautiful driving nirvana that is these roads, you think sports car, exotic, something fun. Well, unfortunately, they didn't have what I wanted when I went to go rent something to drive. They didn't have any even sedans. The one they had left was a Cadillac CTS, and somebody had rented it just as we walked in. So I figured, you know what, go big or go home, and I wound up with this. It's a 2022 Chevy Suburban Z71. Yeah, I know, not exactly, sporty. But I will say, I'm quite impressed by this thing. I've been tossing it around the mountains, and with this air suspension setup that it has, you can bring it down a little bit in a sport mode. It even gives you a little checkered flag on the dashboard, and it firms it up. And it actually handles quite well. Ooh, we got a tunnel coming up. Should we hear that V8? Huh? Should we get a little bit of V8 in here? Yeah, let's slow it down. Let's slow it down. Now, unfortunately, this doesn't have the 6.2 liter V8 that you can get in these. It's got the 5.3. So, a little low on the power. I personally would get one with a 6.2. But not bad. So what do you get with the Z71? Of course, you get it all blacked out on the exterior. There's no chrome. You get the huge Z71 badges.
AutoTrack 2-speed transfer case performance skid plate with high approach angle, red front recovery hooks, 20-inch aluminum wheels, all-terrain tires, black grille with black accents, gloss black exterior badges, emblems, and trim, black side assist steps, roof rails, and lower front fascia.
Oh, nice and tight. I like curves. So, people will argue, who in the world needs a behemoth this large? Well, if you have a large family, or if you are going somewhere with more than 4 or 5 people, and especially if you're going to be towing something like a camper or a boat, you need something like this. You can fit 7 to 8 people depending on the packaging, whether you get the captains or the bench, and you can tow, I believe it's something like 8,000 pounds. I don't remember off the top of my head. Bless you. And I'm sure we've all heard the argument before where people complain, especially certain types, about how these SUVs are detrimental to the well-being of the planet. Well, let me put it to you like this. If you're going somewhere and you're more than, again, 3 or 4 or 5 people, instead of taking 2 cars, you can take 1 and all your luggage with you. So there's that. And instead of going and staying in some expensive hotel that they had to cut down a bunch of trees to build, you can tow a camper with you.
No, because you're still letting out all kinds of emissions and stuff with a camper.
So I let out emissions every time I fart. I'm going to leave that in there too. My wife here is telling me, oh, you're still letting out emissions. Yeah, I let out emissions too. So do cows. We all let out emissions. It's about not letting out too much. And the process. When people build hybrids, the process in which they make the batteries is extremely polluting to the environment. So, all you need is a reason to drive a big V8. I have to say, though, when it comes to the handling, I'm quite impressed. I've driven a lot of bigger SUVs, even the non-Z71. I believe it was a 2019 GMC Yukon I drove and I reviewed, but it never got published, unfortunately. I asked somebody to edit the film and they deleted it instead. So when it comes to the handling, this thing handles quite well. I'm shocked. I've been tossing it around corners and curves, and it handles tremendously. You know, for 5,900 pounds, she acts like a lightweight. Yesterday, while throwing it up the side of a mountain, I dubbed it the Fat Ballerina. So what are the pros and cons? The pros are, it's capable, you can tow with it, you can take people, you can take things, it's versatile, you can fold all the seats and just load it up with all kinds of stuff, or you can go ahead and fit it with people and some stuff, because unlike the Tahoe, you've got room behind the seats, a lot of it too, pretty decent amount. So you can fit 7 to 8 people and their crap. What are some of the cons? It's an absolute behemoth. It's huge, massive. The new design as well, with the big hood the way it is and those bumpers. I had to raise the seat up as high as I could get it comfortably so I could see over the hood. It's got some some blind spots. You've got to have real good depth perception and know your surroundings. It's a gas guzzler. Well, of course. It's big, it's heavy, it's powerful. Of course it's going to be a gas guzzler. We averaged, what was that? 18.5 miles to the gallon, I think. Another con, which most people might not think about initially, is that if you're gonna own something like this, you're probably gonna have another car in the household. This is more than likely not going to be a daily driver unless the driving is very little. If you're commuting to work 30, 40, 50 miles like many Americans do. What was that? So as I was saying, unless this is going to be something that's not driven a lot, it's a bit excessive for daily commuting and driving. But then again, somebody who can afford something like this is probably going to be able to afford another car because the MSRP is somewhere in the neighborhood of 65 to 70 grand for the Z71. And I don't think right now, currently in the middle of 2022, they're bringing that much. I think they're selling for more because, or just before I recorded this video, I checked online and I found a used one with 26,000 miles on it for $75,000 on Carvana. So, would I buy one? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got the GX470. That's a big honkin' SUV. Not as big as this, but still big, bodacious, and I like it. I really like a big SUV sometimes. They have their purpose. In conclusion, if you're looking for a rugged SUV to haul family and their stuff and possibly tow something with, this should be on your list. Other than this, what do you have? You have the Expedition, with the twin turbo EcoBoost, which I'm sorry, but I don't care for. I'm all for efficiency, but the EcoBoost V6 is often not a good engine. You have the Armada, which even though it and its counterpart, the Infiniti, I like, they've been around for quite some time now. So, there you have it. If you gotta have a V8, and you gotta have space, and you gotta haul 7 to 8 people and tow something, what else could you ask for? As always, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.